In 1965, Arthur Ashe emerged from UCLA as one of collegiate tennis's all-time greats. 2 years later, across town at Southern Cal came the serve and volley style of Bob Lutz. A year later, a towering blonde with a booming serve claimed the title. His name, Stan Smith. In the 70s came the more charismatic, hard-charging style of left-handers. Jimbo was first. Then the flamboyance and stylistic grace of John McEnroe took forefront in 1978 at Stanford. The decade of the 80s belonged to Stanford with the help of gentleman Tim Mayock. 10 years later, Jared Palmer was hoping to keep the Cardinal tradition alive, and he did with a straight sets victory over Georgia's Patricio Arnold. Today, two more stars from these perennial powers take center stage. Senior Alex O'Brien of Stanford hopes to become the 11th men's singles champion from Palo Alto. Junior Wade McGuire of Georgia hopes to follow the path of Michael Pernfors, a two-time NCAA champion. It's a Memorial Day weekend All-American matchup. ESPN presents an NCAA championship. The men's Division I singles title. From Henry Field Stadium in Athens, Georgia, home of the University of Georgia, it's Alex O'Brien versus Wade McGuire in the men's singles Division I championship matchup. Hello, everyone. I am Tim Brando, welcoming you to the collegiate answer to Wimbledon. It is the last Grand Slam matchup, and as we've shown you, there have been some outstanding players come from this tournament field. Working with me today is Steve Flink. Steve, I think you'll agree that in past years, in fact, since 1986, we have seen unseeded players in the championship. Both of these guys are seeded. Both of these guys have outstanding futures at the next level.
I think they do, Tim. You've got Alex O'Brien, who's concluding his college career here. He just led Stanford to the team title. And then in McGuire from Georgia, a junior, what a surge he made from number 6 to number 1 on his team.
Alex O'Brien, quite honestly, is on a tremendous roll. He has won his last 18 NCAA matchups. That's a magnificent statistic.
Well, also, he led Stanford to the team title and then rebounded, came back quickly. Look what he did here. Romped through the first 3 rounds. Then he was down 5-3 in the third against Roland Thornquist from the University of North Carolina. Won that match in the quarters. And then in the semifinals yesterday, he was brilliant against Jose Luis Noriega from San Diego. In the first set, he lost only 4 points in winning at 6-love.
In many respects, he can alter his game depending on the opponent's style.
He can. I think he's probably the most flexible player I've seen among all the top players in college tennis. He can attack, he can defend extremely well from the baseline, and he's very resourceful.
Wade McGuire is a tremendous counter-punching baseliner, and his road has been a little bit more difficult, particularly once he got to the quarterfinals.
Yes, he had a top 3 setter in the quarterfinals against El Sawi, which he won going away in the final set. Tougher than the score looked, but yesterday that was the tumultuous struggle for Wade McGuire. This was a long, difficult match, 17 service breaks in the 3 sets. But McGuire finally prevailed for this reason, the counterattacking style, great passing shots, particularly off the backhand side.
In a sense, what we're looking at is a matchup of a player who has total command of every aspect of his game against a guy that is a risk taker.
That's really what it comes down to. I mean, I think O'Brien is a great percentage player, a terrific match player. He will find a way to beat you. He will not beat himself. On the other side of that, you've got McGuire, who's a stylist and a big hitting baseliner. So it's an exciting contrast in styles.
Could it happen again? A Stanford player winning the championship on the Georgia court? We'll soon find out. McGuire and O'Brien coming up. Today's NCAA Division I Men's Tennis Championship is brought to you by Audi, who invites you to test drive the all-new Audi 100 V6 and take control. And by Colorado, where you are invited to discover the incredible range.
Recently, the International Motorsports Association held a decathlon of performance and control. Over 22 days, 7 cars competed in 10 events to determine which was best overall. It wasn't Acura or Volvo, nor Mercedes or Mazda, nor Lexus or BMW. But the Audi 100 V6, the IMSA Decathlon Gold Medal winner.
Good times with friends, hey, they're special. Sometimes you wish they would never end. The care you show is just as special. special. Friends know when to say when.
The family of Budweiser beers is proud of all the friendships they've helped make. So when they remind you to know when to say when, it's all in the name of friendship.
Friends know when to say when.
U.S. Air Reservations, how can I help you?
Hi, who are you?
2 to Washington, please.
After you.
Yours, sir.
Thanks.
You're traveling light?
Did you have fun flying?
Yeah. You enjoy your flight with US Air?
Thank you for flying on U.S. Air.
You'll hear one word again and again from the people of U.S. Air.
What's better for you?
For one very good reason.
Everything we do.
Do it. You go to gate 10.
Thanks very much.
The Kodak Fun Saver Weekend 35 camera. It takes pictures where most other cameras can't. Clear, sharp pictures. Even 8 feet underwater. The affordable Fun Saver Weekend 35 camera. Preloaded with Kodak film, ready to shoot. Get one and get all the fun on film.
If you love the game of tennis, you'd love to come to Henry Field Stadium, also home to the Collegiate Tennis Hall of Fame. That's where we are located today, here in Athens, Georgia. Tim Brando along with Steve Flink for the men's Division I singles final, Alex O'Brien against Wade McGuire. When you start talking about Alex O'Brien, again, this is a player that last year made it to the semifinal round only to lose to Patricio Arnold. He talked to us about playing Wade McGuire today.
He's also the same type player. He's got a great forehand, hard hitter. And he moves pretty well. He covers the net, closes the net well, and I think that's another. I think I just need to be steady when I play against him.
It was a good analysis, I thought, from O'Brien. He knows exactly what he has to do, and he's going to have to be very careful about when he does come to the net against a fine counterattacker.
The thing about O'Brien, he usually figures out the style he needs to play, but in a matchup against a player like McGuire, who can come back at you so quickly, you have to make that decision in a hurry. You're looking at Wade McGuire. What a magnificent story. 2 knee surgeries in the past 3 years, and here he is playing for a national championship. But he must hold his serve today.
Well, today I just have to hit up on the serve more. I was double faulting a lot yesterday, and I was just giving him a lot of opportunities on the serve, and today I'm just going to have to hit up on the serve more and create more opportunities with my serve if I expect to win today.
He knows what he has to do, Tim. He's got to be a lot more consistent on serve and find a way to play solid points on serve and control his service games in a way he couldn't in the semifinals.
Marvelous day for tennis today. 83 degrees. It'll get a little warmer than that on the court. This is a hard surface we're playing on. A 20% chance of rain. That's normal for this time of year in this part of the country. Rastec surface, as we mentioned. Our chair umpire today is David Giltz out of Charlotte, North Carolina. This is always the case. A lot of pressure on them whenever there's a national championship at stake. McGuire to serve. Just out.
You will not see Alex O'Brien miss many returns like that, but he made the right tactical move. He has to put pressure on Wade McGuire's second serve, and I think he'll do it consistently throughout the match.
Wade McGuire is the 7th Georgia Bulldog to reach the NCAA singles semifinals. Now here he is again in a championship. Patricio Arnold made it last year, but Arnold's story was much different. He was about to transfer to South Florida. He's now on the Pro Tour. He is much more the hometown favorite than Patricio a year ago.
$15 all.
Out of Richmond, Virginia. Played 6th in the Georgia lineup last year. Climbed all the way up to number 1. Was number 1 nationally NAIA, playing at Lander College in South Carolina. There are those that believe, and they don't keep records on this, but he could become the first ever NAIA national champion and NCAA national champion. Charging the net again, O'Brien.
Well, O'Brien is applying the pressure very successfully. There, he controlled that service return nicely off the forehand side, which he missed on the first point. This time, it's deep enough. He closes in. He has a solid cross-court backhand volley that wins him the point because McGuire can't control the lob.
15-30.
Now, another thing that Alex O'Brien is able to do is he's very adept at changing trajectory. And by that, I mean he raises the level of his ground strokes, hits some solid low drives, and then lifts the ball up a little higher with heavy topspin. And that's how he managed to provoke that last mistake from Wade McGuire.
So here we are at double break point. Wade McGuire's worst nightmare has come true up at the top of your screen. 15-40 with a double break for O'Brien. He wanted to get out of the gates quickly with his serve. And there's a double fault for the first game for Alex O'Brien. The mental aspect of the serve itself is something Wade McGuire must work on against Alex O'Brien.
Football fans, here it comes. Sports Illustrated brings you the hard-hitting excitement of NFL football in this thrilling new video, The Best of Thunder and Destruction. It's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. The best way to capture all the action and emotion of sports. Call this toll-free number now and get a no-holds-barred look at what it takes to win in the NFL.
The other team's quarterback must go down. And he must go down hard.
It's an explosive 45 minutes that will knock you over again and again. And it's free from Sports Illustrated. Plus, you'll get 30 issues of Sports Illustrated, including the 2 big football previews for only $1.29 an issue. Save over 55% off the cover price. Call now to subscribe or renew. And for quicker delivery, use your credit card. With your free video, the NFL's best come at you one right after another. And you'll catch all the action of sports every week in Sports Illustrated. Call now.
Taken at face value, your diet routine seems to have gotten brown. Why not come out of the shadow and into the light of Diet 7-Up, the Un-Cola, the Un that's always smooth, never harsh or irritating, without a hint of aftertaste. New Diet 7-Up with NutraSweet, the 1-calorie Un-Cola. Put some Un in your diet.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead to further action between Alex O'Brien and Wade McGuire in the men's NCAA Division I Singles Championship.
I know.
The confidence factor for Wade McGuire up now. You see him there talking with Manny Diaz. Well, and he altered his game. He actually did what Alex O'Brien has done so well throughout this tournament, as he decided to serve and volley to win his first service
Well,
game.
he likes to serve and volley, particularly into the ad court side, which he did twice in this game. Here he is. He comes in, makes a good backhand half volley, then closes in now and knifes the backhand volley cross court for a winner. Sprawled on the ground, he realizes he's won the point. That was a crucial game. There's no doubt about that for Wade McGuire. He could not afford to go down 2 breaks. He was down break point, could have been down 3-love. Instead, it's O'Brien just protecting a 1 service break lead here, and McGuire very much in it. Now you start to see the confidence flowing into the game of McGuire. That was one of his best returns of the match that set up the passing shot. There it is. It's a good, deep, wide serve to the forehand. He gets a good crack at it. Nice half volley from O'Brien, but there's the down-the-line backhand to force the forehand volley error.
The speed on those ground strokes, that's his strong suit. Love 15. Just out.
Bad luck. That was an underspin backhand lob off the racket of McGuire. He had pretty good touch on it, just a shade long. It was the right shot for him to play, though. He's starting now to press O'Brien on his serve. That's a good sign. McGuire now, take a look at it again. He backtracks and plays that lob with the underspin, heavy underspin, looks and sees that it's just long.
Oh, McGuire charges the net in his pass by O'Brien.
It wasn't a bad approach shot, but what O'Brien managed to do is find the slightest of angles. The approach was down the middle. Take a look at it again. They're trading punches here. In comes good backhand approach down the middle, not quite deep enough, but a perfect pass cross court off the racket of O'Brien.
30-15.
He took his time, lined it up, measured it, and connected. A miss hit. That was a clear miss hit. And it was a good, again, it was a high trajectory for him from O'Brien that managed to bring that about. Like many big hitters, I mean, McGuire would rather have hit waist-high balls and that he can tee off uncomfortably, play off pace. And O'Brien is not always going to give it to him.
40-15. Alex is also trying to become the first senior to win the NCAA men's singles since Robbie Weiss did it from Pepperdine in '88.
Now there we saw O'Brien draw McGuire into the net. He purposely hit the short ball and made McGuire come in on his terms and then hit a pretty good passing shot there to force the error on the volley. Take a look at it again. There's the short ball angled, and that forces him in. Now the passing shot down the line, hit with good pace, forces that forehand volley well out. Alex O'Brien wanting to test his opponent in every conceivable way, pick him apart comprehensively.
Alex O'Brien up a break, 3-1, opening set, best 2 of 3 for the NCAA championship. Dean McGuire, Wade McGuire, once again in a situation where he has to hold serve, already down a break.
Again,
15 love.
O'Brien trying to come in off the forehand return from the deuce court, trying to steer it cross court. And that's the second error he's made off that side. A little unusual, but it was not a bad second serve from Wade McGuire. We're going to take a look at him again. Watch him moving, maneuvering, looking for the forehand. Short backswing, but he still slightly overplayed it.
Another double fault. That's his third double fault. We've only played 4 games.
Well, it's too many. I mean, he's doing it in every service game. One in the opening game, one in his last service game, and now another in this one. Cannot afford to give away those points.
Still has abandon on his first serve.
Nice play from Wade McGuire. He came in and played a difficult first volley, made it look easy, and that set up the smash.
That's the thing, Steve. You admire the fact that he doesn't take any pace off his first serve, even after he's struggled with a double fault.
Well, that was also excellent touch on the backhand volley. Backtracks for the lob and knocks off the smash easily. We're going to look at McGuire on the ISO here on the same point now. Watch him now get back for the smash beautifully and knock it off.
(30-15). Second serve.
Back in return, wide off the racket of O'Brien. He's not quite as sharp as he'd like to be as he's trying to attack these second serves, and that's allowed McGuire a certain luxury that may not be there throughout the match, because he's missed 4 straight first serves in this game, has Wade McGuire. In his opening service game, he missed 4 out of 5, and those kinds of percentages are eventually going to catch up to him.
McGuire on the left, O'Brien on the right. There's another ace. His third. He has 3 aces, 3 double faults after 5 games. But he's down a break. Alex O'Brien of Stanford leads the red-headed, right-handed player from Georgia 3-2.
To have any sport right at your fingertips. Just put this in your hand. The Casio Sports Vision Color TV. It's perfect for the sport in your life. The Casio Sports Vision Color TV. Available at Target.
Recently, the International Motorsports Association held a decathlon of performance and control. Over 22 days, 7 cars competed in 10 events to determine which was best overall. It wasn't Acura or Volvo, nor Mercedes or Mazda, nor Lexus or BMW, but the Audi 100 V6, the IMSA Decathlon Gold Medal winner.
ESPN's coverage of Sunday Night Baseball, America's game of the week, tonight at 8 p.m. Exclusive national coverage. The Twins against the Tigers, Kirby Puckett, and the long ball power of Cecil Fielder. On display, John Miller, Joe Morgan will have the call for you a little later tonight. Bat speed versus racket speed. That's what we have on display today at the Division I Men's Singles Championship. Alex O'Brien up a break. 3 games to 2 over Wade McGuire of Georgia. Tim Brando along with Steve Flink. Happy to have you with us. I think Alex O'Brien was hoping for a net serve. He was looking for a net. Didn't get it.
No, he's going to get it. You'll see in a second. We'll watch the serve again. And it looked like it might have been a clean winning return for Wade McGuire, but
Dave Giltz did honor him. He did get it. Oh, that's in.
Perfect topspin lob winner. Wade McGuire hit his share of those in his semifinal victory, and now he does it again. Perfect touch and execution. Watch him chase down this volley, and then he loops the topspin lob cross court. No way for O'Brien to catch up to it.
Mentally, that has to mean a lot because he had just had a backhand return for a winner taken away.
Good backhand down the line pass, forcing that forehand volley error. You noticed a moment ago that stat on winners, and of course the key there is that McGuire goes for more outright winners. That's his game. And take a look at McGuire on the ISO as he drills the backhand down the line, knows he's won the point.
Those that are in the know in the collegiate game would tell you that McGuire's been hitting better ground strokes from the backhand side in this tournament than ever before.
Well, I know a lot of the coaches certainly felt that about his semifinal win yesterday over Jaffe of Pepperdine. There's a good serve from Alex O'Brien into the body. But Howard Jaffe of Pepperdine continually came forward, tried to press the attack throughout the match, and Wade McGuire was up to the task. He returned serve brilliantly off both sides. Thus far today in the final, his backhand return has not been nearly as good, but he just might find the range.
Yes.
And there was a bad judgment from O'Brien. He had a chance. He hesitated. He could have played a forehand volley off his pass. He had it covered, but he thought it was going out. We're going to take a look at it. Here's the backhand down the line approach from O'Brien. He comes in now. He has a look at this pass, lets it go, and it lands in the corner for a winner. He had a play. There's a great rolling topspin forehand from McGuire that wins him the point. The topspin brought it back down into the court, but O'Brien with an unusual mistake in judgment.
Double break point.
30-40.
O'Brien mixing up that serve. Again, that was not too much pace on that first serve, but he got good depth on it. It was a very hard return to knock off for a winner, and so it cancels a break point.
Still one break point left for McGuire.
Deuce.
Now O'Brien stayed back behind that first serve, which may have thrown McGuire off just a touch. McGuire still had a good whack at it, but he caught the tape there on the flat return, and so O'Brien has worked his way back to deuce. That's a superb play from Wade McGuire, who virtually hit a half-volley drive pass there to win the point because the volley was reasonably deep. He had to take the ball early to win that point, and that's exactly what Wade McGuire did. Watch him. He hits the backhand cross court. Now watch him here. Quick pickup off the forehand side. Topspin forces the volley error. Terrific shot from Wade McGuire. Here's the backhand cross court. Sets up this quick whipped topspin forehand, and that won the point.
Just for O'Brien to get a racket on that return was a play in itself. Advantage McGuire. Double fault and a break back for Wade McGuire.
Well, I think O'Brien was starting to feel some of the pressure there toward the end of that game, and that's why he went for a lot of depth on that second serve. It was not a nervous second serve, but he knew he had to get great depth in order to contain McGuire. So McGuire has done a nice job of getting himself back on level terms here in the first set.
Tremendous crowd on hand again today here in Athens to cheer on yet another Georgia player in a championship match. This is the kind of guy that fans love to root for because he goes for so many shots. Well, that's a magnificent lob. Top spinner by Alex O'Brien.
Well, O'Brien had hit a fine low return. He forced Wade McGuire to hit a weak first volley, and that was the key to the topspin lob. Take a look at it. Low return makes him hit the forehand volley up, and there's the topspin lob cross court. He had plenty of time to set up that lob. Excellent depth off the return from Alex O'Brien. Again, not fancy, but high trajectory stroke, deep cross court, high to the backhand side of McGuire. Gets the job done.
As an ex-player in Encyclopedia Britannica on this sport, which you are both, you can certainly put yourself, Steve, in the position of Wade McGuire because he now struggled his way to get back on serve, and yet here he is fighting the same battle.
It's always tough when you've worked your way back from a breakdown to then hold the next game.
He wanted that one. He wanted that one desperately, and so did the crowd. Down love 30.
And again, O'Brien looking for a forehand return. But that was too good a serve. Good depth on the serve from McGuire. Forced that service return error, and that was at a crucial moment. We're going to take a look at it again. Spins it deep to the forehand side, into the body, and forces the error. And that took guts because he would have faced a triple breakpoint situation here. Instead, he's back to 15-30.
That's the name of his game. Too fine that time.
I think he had just a little too much time to think. The return to serve from O'Brien clipped the net cord, sat up a little bit, and that gave McGuire the chance to try and set up an inside-out forehand. The ball hangs. He waits now, sets it up, tries to hit it inside-out for a winner, but he hits it wide.
Court, and it's out.
Game O'Brien.
And O'Brien breaks
O'Brien
back.
leads 4-3.
And is up a break in the first set again. Alex O'Brien leading 4-3.
Alex O'Brien comes in on a cross-court backhand approach, and the backhand down the line pass is just narrowly wide.
He's taken so many chances, but does he have more winners yet to come against this man?
The Kodak Fun Saver Weekend 35 camera. It takes pictures where most other cameras can't. Clear, sharp pictures. Even 8 feet underwater. the affordable Fun Saver Weekend 35 camera. Preloaded with Kodak film, ready to shoot. Get one and get all the fun on film.
Ah, Paris, une ville de beauté, amour, grand slam tennis et le stade Roland-Garros.
Monica Seles seeks her third straight French Open title, a feat not accomplished in 55 years. Defending champion Jim Courier wants to capture his second Grand Slam title of the year, a sensational field that won't be playing for love at the French Open. 2 weeks of great tennis action starts Memorial Day live on ESPN.
Recently, the International Motorsports Association held a decathlon of performance and control. Over 22 days, 7 cars competed in 10 events to determine which was best overall. It wasn't Acura or Volvo, nor Mercedes or Mazda, nor Lexus or BMW, but the Audi 100 V6, the IMSA Decathlon Gold Medal winner.
Wade McGuire back down a service break to Alex O'Brien of Stanford. We're in the opening set here from Athens, Georgia. Tim Brando along with Steve Flink. And there is Wade McGuire, and you can tell how he feels about going back down a break after just returning back to serve. We were holding serve at 3-all, and then again, he cannot hold his serve. That is the key for him. He must do a better job.
But he refuses, Tim, to stop going for big first serves. He missed 3 out of 5 in that last game again because he goes for flat first serves, and the percentages are just not on his side. O'Brien thought he had an ace down the center there, but it was just long.
Alex O'Brien, when you think about it, the stable of stars to come from Stanford. Back to 1921, Philip Neer, Keith Gledhill, Fred Schroeder, then in 73, Sandy Mayer, 74, John Whitlinger, then Matt Mitchell, John McEnroe, Tim Mayotte, Dan Goldie in 86, Jared Palmer in 91. All-time singles champions. We've seen our fair share.
That's the first time I've seen in this match that Alex O'Brien wasted an opportunity to go into the net. He could have come in off the return from McGuire, and he decided not to, and instead he got hung up on the baseline, and McGuire hit a winner on the next shot. Take a look at it. Off this shot here, he thought about coming in, then he backtracked, and look what happened. Clean winner off the racket of McGuire. You can't give him those kinds of openings.
15-all.
Yes. And that's a fine passing shot off the racket of McGuire. That volley was hit behind him, a shrewdly directed volley off the racket of O'Brien, but he couldn't get the job done because it was just too good a pass. Watch it. He volleyed behind him, but then there's the down-the-line forehand roll with topspin.
As cerebral a player as Alex O'Brien is, this guy's a tough figure. I mean, Wade McGuire is not an easy guy to read.
No, he's not. He can really unsettle you, but I think O'Brien is still cool and thoughtful out there.
30-all.
And also, O'Brien is aware that with risks come errors. And there we saw it again there. That was a difficult approach shot for McGuire to play off the one-handed backhand slice, and he pressed just a little bit and missed it.
30-all.
There we see O'Brien stepping up the pace. That's one of the bigger first serves he's delivered in this match. Very accurate down the center in the deuce court, up the tee, as they say, and so it gets him a game point.
second serve from O'Brien had very little on it, and McGuire took advantage.
Took full advantage, and he was very wise to come in behind that return. Take the net away from O'Brien. We're going to look at McGuire make the smash. He has to hit a second one now, and this one is such a short lob that it's easy for him to put it away. The first lob was pretty deep, but the second one is so short that McGuire just takes care of it easily.
The number of winners, McGuire 10 more than O'Brien, but we're at deuce in a pivotal game for O'Brien.
O'Brien had opened up the court beautifully. That was the only shot that could beat him, was a sharply angled, soft cross-court reply, which McGuire came up with. Remarkable shot. It was a serve opened up the court. Watch O'Brien. He comes in now. He's got the shot he wants. Hits a cross-court back and comes in behind it. This is the only shot that can beat him, a sharp cross-court. He has to half volley, and he can't make it. Tremendous response from Wade McGuire.
That's out. Well, how big a game is this for O'Brien, sensing that if he wins this game, goes up 5-3, realizing that McGuire is struggling to hold his serve, he could go ahead and win the first set.
And he shows that relentless pursuit of the net. Even though he'd gotten in trouble in the previous point, had to miss a half volley when he came in, he still got right back in there on the next point. And he wins it.
That's out.
Advantage
McGuire
O'Brien.
wanted it. And another game point coming up.
I think Tim in his heart, he knew it was long. That's just frustration showing, because he just wished the ball could have fallen in. No such luck. It was too good a serve.
Advantage O'Brien. Game point. Oh, yes. One more time for measure.
And again, it's Wade McGuire's ability to take advantage of a mediocre second serve and command the net that saves a game point and keeps him in this first set.
That seems to be Alex's only Achilles heel today.
Well, he's on the defensive all the way through this point. Watch him now. O'Brien stabs, gets a lob back there, makes another stab. So this time, this lob just falls barely over the net, and it's easy prey for his opponent. So McGuire works his way back to deuce.
First serve.
He did get down on the net cord. It'll be a first serve. Which means a lot at this point to Alex O'Brien.
Advantage O'Brien.
That serve worked because he had just enough slice to make it curve into that deuce court. It appeared all the way through the air as if it might go a shade wide, but the slice brought it into the court. Very good serving in the deuce court from Alex O'Brien. Watch him. He comes round the outside of the ball, slices it, and connects with the line. Dead center on that line for a clean ace.
Could not have picked a better time for his first ace.
Game O'Brien.
And he follows up with a solid
O'Brien
first serve,
leads 5-3.
again directing it to the backhand side of McGuire, which has been his Achilles heel thus far in this match.
So now Alex O'Brien with a chance to win the first set if in fact he can break Wade McGuire yet again. McGuire failed to hold his serve in his last opportunity. Through the years, when you speak of the Stanford Cardinal under Dick Gould, they have had their fair share of all-time singles championships. Harvard with 18, USC, of course, with a tremendous run themselves, particularly in the late 60s and 70s. Stanford has 10, spanning over decades dating all the way back to the 20s. UCLA and Yale each with 9. That man's looking for another one. for McGuire.
Well, he has no inhibition on his
15
smash. I mean, he really goes for it, and he's pretty solid overhead. It was a good stab backhand return from O'Brien. Now, he hits a very short lob here, though, and it's dispatched with ease by McGuire.
Again, the overhead.
Well, at this point, I think McGuire is easily able to anticipate these lobs, so he gets back quickly. It
30
wasn't
love.
a particularly good lob from O'Brien, and then again, McGuire takes care of business. It was a good return, made him half volley, but look at the lob. It was obvious, and he backtracks and goes inside out for the winner. Good smash, McGuire. Watch him now on the reverse cross-court angle, and he knows he's hit the winner.
30 love. It's a key game for McGuire. Even if he does lose the first set 6-4, it could mean a lot for him in the second set.
30-15.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, you could have your confidence destroyed if you don't go ahead and win this service game
Also,
once you go into the second set.
That's true, and he'd prefer to not let O'Brien start serving in the second set.
Miss hit.
40-15.
There's a nice off-speed, high-kicking serve. So it was almost as if McGuire gave O'Brien a taste of his own medicine on that last point. We're going to look at O'Brien on the ISO here, trying to handle this return, backhand return. But he can't. It was up high, and he just didn't time it well.
Football call there on McGuire. You rarely see that called. He had one yesterday, and it was on match point.
Actually, I think it might have actually happened to him once in the second set, too. He flirts with it, Tim. It happens from time to time, and I'm glad to see that they're willing to call it.
A foot fault in the pro game would be somewhat akin to traveling being called in the NBA. You just very rarely see anyone have the strength to make the call.
You're right, and you know, Stefan Edberg, who of course is the #2 player in the world, he is constantly near the foot fault line, constantly flirting with it. Very rarely is Edberg called.
Another game point for McGuire, up 40-30. Down 3 games to 5, first set. O'Brien seems willing to stay back, play the ground strokes, hoping that an unforced error might occur.
Well, he'll do that on McGuire's serve. Obviously, he'll attack as much as he can behind his own serve and in his own service games. On McGuire's serve, he's looking to sort of unnerve him with a positioning. Look at the unforced errors. 3 times as many for McGuire, who takes all those audacious risks. But you see O'Brien constantly putting pressure on McGuire by moving around on the return of serve.
We're at deuce. That is more than an equalizer for the winners, which McGuire has plenty of. And a double fault.
Advantage O'Brien.
And again, it's because McGuire realizes he has to make a very effective second serve or he's going to get pressure from Alex O'Brien, and that can sometimes cause the double faults.
5 of them so far for McGuire.
Which is many more than he can afford.
Andy Diaz looks on.
That's a great 1-2 punch from Wade McGuire. He served deep and wide to the backhand side. O'Brien made a superb stab return down the middle to seemingly stay in the point. Watch him. He gets it, blocks it back, but then there's a clean forehand winner. That's McGuire at his very best as he unleashes the flat forehand for a clean outright winner to save a set point.
We're at deuce. This first set has already taken 3/4 of an hour. 45 minutes we've played so far. Great shot. Oh,
and that was
a whipping forehand right on the line. And O'Brien doesn't believe
Advantage
it.
McGuire.
Well, he doesn't believe it because he hit his return down the middle fairly deep. And there's McGuire positioned behind the baseline. We'll look at it again. Deep down the middle return. And then he unleashes from behind the baseline and practically clips the sideline on the cross-court forehand. The odds on his making that shot were substantially against him.
Advantage McGuire. Miss hit. And out. And we're back to deuce.
Takes such a big swing at that forehand. That's part of the danger in the game of Wade McGuire. We'll take a look at him again. Watch him now. Big swing from low to high. This one he tries to hit with heavy topspin. Both feet off the ground, but he mishits.
Deuce. Foot fault called again. Second one in one set that we've seen called. And another double
Advantage
fault.
O'Brien was standing almost in line with the center service line, moving around, daring his opponent to come up with a good second serve. And it works again.
Yeah, while we're receiving, I think we've seen more movement from Alex O'Brien today than we've seen in some previous matches. 6 double faults now for Wade McGuire.
First serve.
Again, it always depends. He's willing to adjust himself, make the adjustments depending on who he's playing. I think he realized that for a guy who had a shaky time on serve in the semifinals, that he had to do as much as he could to bother him.
Set point for Alex O'Brien. Second service coming up.
4 straight first serves missed by Wade McGuire.
We commented earlier that this was a pivotal game. Reason?
Ball change.
He fails to hold serve for the 3rd time in the first set. He must struggle with his own game while playing one of the best in the country. Alex O'Brien 1 set away from a national championship.
Recently, the International Motorsports Association held a decathlon of performance and control. Over 22 days, 7 cars competed in 10 events to determine which was best overall. It wasn't Acura or Volvo, nor Mercedes or Mazda, nor Lexus or BMW, but the Audi 100 V6, the IMSA Decathlon Gold Medal winner.
Red Devil enamel. You can always count on its durable finish. Harder than ordinary paints, its beauty lasts and lasts. Red Devil enamel for the finish of a lifetime.
With Minwax polyurethane, you can do more than admire your wood. You can live with it, too, because Minwax contains pure urethane oil to protect wood while giving it beauty you can really live with. Minwax keeps wood beautiful.
Higher education is crucial to America's economic strength and vitality. Today, companies of all sizes compete in a world of rapidly changing technologies and expanding global markets. They depend on people who are fully prepared to make personal and knowledgeable contributions of the highest order, the kind of contributions made possible by America's colleges and universities.
This message provided by the NCAA.
From Red Grange to the modern grace of Olympian Tracy Corkins, the flavor and pageantry of all 21 men's and women's collegiate sports come alive at the NCAA Visitor Center. Come celebrate the magic moments in college sports at the NCAA Visitor Center, open year-round in Kansas City.
Alex O'Brien taking advantage of 3 service breaks, wins over Wade McGuire in the first set of this national championship matchup here in Athens, Georgia. Tim Brando along with Steve Flink. And coming up a little bit later today, the Thrift Drug Classic. Many of the nation's leading pro cyclists will tune up for the Olympic trials in this one. It's the first leg of the Triple Crown of cycling. And you'll see same-day coverage later today. National road champion Lance Armstrong, a number of other great cyclists will be on display later today. Alex O'Brien spending time with John Wintlinger, not only facing Wade McGuire today, but playing doubles later today with a chance for a Triple Crown himself, winning the championship for his team, as well as the singles and doubles title. He'll have an opportunity for that later today. First set statistics will show you that man, Wade McGuire, took a number of chances.
Well, of course, the key there, look at that right off the bat, 68% on first serve. Solid serving from O'Brien. McGuire, because he's gunning for the first serve, going for so many flat ones, under 50%, which he can't afford to be. 3 times as many double faults from McGuire. And look at the winners, 16-3, but it's not worth it because he made 4 times as many unforced errors. So O'Brien's solid percentage play is prevailing. He's willing to let his opponent hit those glorious winners from time to time because he knows that the percentages are on his side. There it is. First serve points won. He's almost identical on first and second serve. That shows the consistency of his first serve, and it also shows the good depth on his second serve and his ability to win points there as well.
Yeah, we've only seen a couple of very soft second serves, which McGuire has taken advantage of.
15 love.
We'll find out early, though, if this is going to be a straight sets win. Historically, in this NCAA championship, once defeated late on serve, you break down, and it could be an easy second set. The one thing that remains the same about collegiate tennis with other sports at the collegiate level is that the emotion is so high, and once that adrenaline is gone, particularly when you lose on serve 3 times and you're broken, it can really damage your play in the second set in this heat. 30 love.
First serve.
Tim, I think to follow on your point, I think that another damaging thing is just the fact that McGuire can't find a way to consistently hurt O'Brien. And he feels, even in that last baseline exchange, seemingly advantageous circumstances, and he lost it. O'Brien just is making him work awfully hard.
Perfect lob.
Beautifully disguised. Again, what happens often is that McGuire doesn't get quite enough on his approach shots. He floats them a little bit, and that allows Alex O'Brien too much time to set up the two-handed backhand topspin lob. There it is. It's not badly hit, but not enough pace on it, not enough bite. And there's the topspin lob for perfect winner off the racket of O'Brien. O'Brien salutes his opponent, applauding the racket.
40-15.
Something you don't see often nowadays. It reminds me of the old days in the 60s when Cliff Drysdale would frequently applaud his opponent's great shots. But O'Brien is in a wonderful position here, having won the first set, trying to close out this service game at the start of the second.
Cliff still applauds fiery Fred Stolle, doesn't he? Think so. 40-15. Just out.
40-30.
So O'Brien having a little difficulty closing this game out from 40 love, 2 game points eluding him. That's one of the rare approach shots that he's missed. He steered it just slightly long. He had his opponent out of position, so watch him now. It was a deep forehand down the middle. He tries now to come in off this shot into the backhand corner, but it's just a shade long. Right direction, wrong execution.
We have not had a love game as yet. O'Brien coming close this time.
And that return catches the baseline. O'Brien had every reason to believe it was going long. It was hit at a very high trajectory. It didn't even seem that the topspin could bring it down into court, but it probably caught the back edge of the line, much to the dismay of Alex O'Brien.
Well, when you've had 2 knee surgeries, spent a year away from the game, have come back from 6th seed for your team 1 year and you're number 1 the next, you know you're not going to stop fighting. Look at the winners for McGuire, 17-4 over O'Brien.
First serve.
Be a first serve. Doesn't it, Gord?
He has the target, of course, to hit a lot of those winners because O'Brien is serving and volleying so frequently.
He wore a brace on that right knee up until the end of the regular Southeastern Conference season. Tremendous forehand return.
He ran around that backhand and drilled it cross court.
Advantage McGuire. What a comeback game this would be for him, down 40 love.
It was a very short second serve. You can see how far inside the court Wade McGuire was when he made contact with that ball, but he made no mistake about the forehand. Crucial game, particularly from the standpoint of Wade McGuire, who needs to get off to a good start here in the second set.
Remember, he opened the first set by losing his serve to Alex O'Brien, trying to turn the tables now. He does. And he gets a standing O from the front row here at Henry Field Stadium. Wade McGuire down love 40, comes back to win and get a service break as we open the second set.
Being a fan is tough when your team isn't the home team, especially when I try to find coverage of my favorite team in the local paper. I'm lucky there's even a box score. Well, if you're like me, you'll be happy to know there's one publication that'll make you feel right at home. The Sporting News. You'll love the Sporting News no matter what team you love, even if it is the home team. And now you can get the Sporting News delivered at a special TV price. Just call this number now. You'll get opinions and analysis, strategies, transactions, trade rumors, and the lowdown on the minors. Plus football, basketball, and hockey all year long. Call now to take advantage of this special TV offer on the Sporting News. You'll not only get a terrific price, you'll also get the durable Sporting News sports bag. So call now for the Sporting News, the publication that treats every team like the home team. Call now for the Sporting News and get the sports bag free.
That's 1-800-426-8500. Call now.
Honey, I got a new tractor.
Obsolescence.
Honey, I got a new tractor.
It's the fact of life that says nothing lives forever.
Honey, I got a new tractor.
At Cub Cadet, we put a lot of time into our products.
Honey, I got a new tractor.
So you'll get a lot of time out of them.
Honey.
You can accept obsolescence.
Honey.
Or you can fight it.
You got a
Cub Cadet. Working overtime.
Alex O'Brien leading 2-1 in the second set over Wade McGuire of Georgia. Tim Brando, Steve Flake here at Henry Field Stadium, home of the ITCA Collegiate Tennis Hall of Fame in Athens, Georgia. Magnificent complex they have here. Wade McGuire trying to perform in front of the hometown crowd, and he's having his difficulty, particularly on points won off the second service. You commented earlier, only 30%. It's dipped down to 29% now.
62 is respectable on the first serve, but he has to be above 40 on the second serve, minimum.
15 love.
But Wade is doing an honorable job of trying to mix things up on the serve. He really isn't allowing O'Brien to get too settled on the return. Let's take a look at the backcourt points won and net points won. McGuire obviously far more successful when coming in than he is in the backcourt.
Oh, backhand pass that was brilliant.
Well, that was a smart play. He didn't allow the ball to bounce. O'Brien just getting to it quickly and tracking it down and hitting a drive volley, which rushed his opponent into that mistake.
Help!
30-15.
30-15.
We talked earlier about the other champions at Stanford. McGuire is trying to become the only singles champion at Georgia. since Michael Pernfors. Pernfors won back-to-back in 84 and 85. Even there, when it's out on the backhand, that seems to be where he's at his best. Going from side to side, flailing away along the court. He really does have more control when he's out of control, it seems.
He likes to have targets, but I don't think he wants to be yanked around quite to that extent. And he was moved so wide on his backhand side there.
But you get my drift.
Oh yeah, he loves targets, but I don't think he wants to be pushed into a corner quite like that. That was too difficult a pass to make, and he knew it.
30 all. Foot fault, third time called against Wade McGuire today. That was very nice forehand. Put down the line, return by O'Brien.
Well, it was difficult. He took it from the middle of the court and hit it slightly inside out wide to the backhand side of McGuire. That's so hard to defend against, and you really couldn't see it coming. He hit cross court. Now takes his ball from the middle of the court, hits inside out deep and wide to the backhand. No chance on the one-handed pass for McGuire. When you see him forced to go to that one-handed backhand slice pass, you know he's in deep trouble.
Critical point for McGuire. 30-40, a break point for O'Brien to go up 3-1. Excellent serve and volley there.
Well, the kick serve gave him the chance to close in, and O'Brien couldn't get enough on that return. It was a perfect ad-court play from Wade McGuire to save a break point. He kicks it nice and high, wide to the backhand side, and he has an open court for the forehand volley.
Deuce.
That was a monumental point for McGuire. Had O'Brien been able to forge a 3-1 lead here in the second set, it might have been too much to overcome, but McGuire's hanging in there.
Advantage, O'Brien.
It's uncanny how often that's happening in the deuce court.
I get the feeling, and you can pick it up, even the sound of it from time to time, when, and listen for it this time. Let's try it with the serve from McGuire. As he's going back, listen to the footsteps on the other side of the court. Let's listen.
But you see, it won't happen as much. He's positioning himself about the same spot in the ad court. It's really the deuce court where he does most of his maneuvering, and that's why most of those double faults are occurring on that side.
Game
and
O'Brien.
A double fault. Game O'Brien. 9 times we've seen a double fault.
And that was one of the few in the ad court. He did make an extra move there. Right when we went to the ISO, you saw him move into the alley. And it's a very menacing thing to look at.
It is now 3-1 rather than 2-1. O'Brien now sensing an opportunity to close this one out.
Consecutive double faults to lose that service game. That could be a crucial turning point in the match.
Oh! 15 love.
O'Brien has been so shrewd on serve. He's known when to stay back behind the second serve, when to come in. He's known exactly where to go with that serve, generally into the body on the backhand side when coming in behind it. And he's played a good many solid service games that's helping him tremendously.
Backhand return again.
That one was delivered with good depth, but it gave his opponent McGuire too much freedom on the return of serve on the swing. Watch him. It's a good deep serve, but it's easy prey for his opponent because McGuire was not jammed and he wasn't rushed.
23 winners for McGuire to 8 for O'Brien.
Most of them off the return and many of them on the passing shot as well.
Out.
O'Brien was caught on his heels by that return. I don't know whether he thought it was going long. He looked sort of baffled. And I'm not sure why. He swung the serve wide. Maybe he thought the return was going long, but you rarely see him caught in an open stance as he was there. Watch him now. He steps into the court behind the serve, and he just sort of caught on his heels.
It's as if he gave up on the point.
That serve just wide. A frustrated, disgruntled Alex O'Brien. He really wanted that point badly.
Let's face it, Alex O'Brien senses that if he wins this game, it could all be over. It's way too much for McGuire to overcome.
What a pity for Wade McGuire. He made such a difficult volley to set up an easy smash, and then he overplayed the smash. And his smash thus far has been nearly letter perfect. Watch him. He comes in now. Difficult low backhand volley cross court. Gets the short lob and just bungles it. Leaps up into the air, and off balance, he misses the smash from right on top of the net. That was an excellent low backhand cross court volley. Look at that. The lob is so short. It's too good to be true, and he overhits the smash.
High anxiety taking hold there. The unforced errors continue to mount.
Nearly 4 times as many. And that was a fine first volley from Alex O'Brien. You saw him get down, bend that front knee, and direct that volley deep cross court. He's such a solid percentage player. There may not be that much flamboyance, but he really knows what he's doing out there. Intelligent.
He's a plotter. One of those guys that just keeps making all the right shots at the right time. Game point. Again to that backhand side where McGuire has been devastating throughout this past week, both in team and singles competitions.
I think you watch O'Brien, he decides to come in behind this second serve. It may have been a mistake because watch him. He's forced to stab on the forehand half volley. He's too good a return off an ordinary second serve. It's not a particularly deep or penetrating one. So that saved a game point. Good hard return down the middle. In fact, it was really at the belly button of Alex O'Brien. He really couldn't get out of the way to maneuver for the forehand first volley, and that's why he poked it long.
Well, trying to become a factor now, Steve. Listen to them.
Well, they realized that what an important game this is. So just a moment ago, O'Brien stood on the edge of a 4-1 lead, and now he's down break point.
Correction. First serve.
It will be a first serve, and McGuire's a little upset with that.
Well, when you correct a call like that, you really don't have any alternative.
First serve.
Smart move by McGuire. He sort of steps out of the batting box, so to speak, and now comes back in a position to return serve. Just slows his opponent down.
Oh, yes. Again from the backhand side, right on the line, and that draws a standing O. Stay away from the backhand return when serving to McGuire. 3-2, O'Brien.
McGuire. O'Brien leads 3-2.
Recently, the International Motorsports Association held a decathlon of performance and control. Over 22 days, 7 cars competed in 10 events to determine which was best overall. It wasn't Acura or Volvo, nor Mercedes or Mazda, nor Lexus or BMW, but the Audi 100 V6. The IMSA Decathlon Gold Medal winner.
To have any sport right at your fingertips, just put this in your hand. The Casio Sports Vision Color TV. It's perfect for the sport in your life. the Casio Sports Vision Color TV. Available at Circuit City.
Alex O'Brien unable to put Wade McGuire away. 3-2 as McGuire breaks back in the 5th game of the 2nd set. O'Brien up 1-0. Coming up later today, the Cadillac Senior PGA Tour continues with the Bell Atlantic Classic from Malvern, Pennsylvania. 5:30 Eastern Time. Gibby Gilbert was leading going into today's round. Henning, Trevino, and Palmer also on the leaderboard. All of that coming up later today. Same day coverage. Wade McGuire now with some support from the crowd, and I think they definitely helped him in the 3rd set yesterday against Howard Jaffe. But he has to hold serve.
Hasn't held this set. He's been broken twice.
Love 15.
And again, he gets into trouble on his 2nd serve. This time he wasn't able to really spin it down the middle and make O'Brien play the runaround forehand. It was just a perfect setup forehand down the line return for Alex O'Brien, and he was able to force the error.
Points won from the net and the back court. O'Brien very consistent. He has hung around, though, longer than a pitcher that can't get his first pitch over for a strike.
Excellent forehand return at full stretch from Alex O'Brien. He is not bothered by that wide serve unless it's hit perfectly. He can get a good crack at it, and he's been very effective from that side whenever Wade McGuire's tried to serve and volley. Clean winner. He didn't hit it hard. He just placed it perfectly into the open forehand court of Wade McGuire. That's a good play from O'Brien. Watch him now. He moves around. He's standing in the alley, comes back into the court, steps inside the court, drives it down the line perfectly for a winner.
Double break point. At the net, a winner for McGuire.
A persistent McGuire, because O'Brien kept himself in that point from the moment go. He made a good return, then made a couple of good recoveries in the rally. We'll take a look at McGuire now as he hits that backhand down the line, moves in, angles that backhand volley, and that's all he needed.
Oh, a tremendous return on the backhand side from a very good serve. And O'Brien back up 4-2. Yet again, McGuire unable to hold serve.
It's an interesting thing, though, Tim, because that kick serve just didn't really come up. It didn't have much on it. It didn't have much to bother O'Brien with, and he hit an easy return winner cross court to take care of business.
As we mentioned before, we're at the home of the Tennis Hall of Fame here in Athens, Georgia. Just a magnificent setting.
And, of course, the man who's put so much work into it is the former Georgia coach Dan McGill, the tournament director, who has the winningest record in the history of Division I coaching with 706 career wins. He coached the Georgia Bulldogs for 34 years. Great man, Dan McGill.
Giving way now to Manny Diaz. Now we're beginning to see more of that, too. Some of the legendary coaches giving way to the younger coaches, some of them that were great players maybe back in the 60s or 70s. That's the case with Manny, and obviously Whitlinger is going to be another of those. There's Manny Diaz.
And we saw on that last point Alex O'Brien getting slightly anxious. Took a high ball on his backhand side and hit a backhand approach long. Michael Pernfors center court, they call it. He was the champion in 1984 and 1985, a Swedish fellow. Went on to reach the finals of the French Open in 1986.
That's in. McGuire really upset.
Certainly wasn't deep.
Very quickly, David Giltz answers McGuire.
Let's take another look at it. Flat serve up the middle.
Quiet,
Tough
please.
to tell
Thank
from
you.
that angle. It looked good. but the umpire telling him it certainly was not long. McGuire was convinced the serve was long.
$15 just the second ace for O'Brien. That's a frustration backhand.
Well, it was a good, solid first volley. He didn't have an angle to work with. I think that was part of the reason he was frustrated, and one of the reasons why he netted it. He's hit his service return quite hard, but he couldn't keep it down low enough. And so O'Brien was able to take control of that point.
Temperature down on the Grass Tech surface over 100 degrees, 103, but we do have some wind down there, and you can hear it whipping around. Just out. 30 all.
A desperate move on the part of McGuire as he made that move into the net. Came in from a rather deep position and probably should have been passed, but it was still wise because he wanted to just apply some pressure to O'Brien, who's trying to forge a 5-2 lead here in the second set.
Just out. 40-30 and a game point to put Alex O'Brien, but a game away from the NCAA championship.
And O'Brien dared McGuire to come up with a perfect topspin lob there because he closed in extraordinarily tight after his first volley. He made it quite clear that he was not going to get passed off a drive. It had to be a lob, and it had to be a perfect lob.
Yes.
And this time he makes it, though. Similar situation. O'Brien had closed in. He thought he could cover anything but that shot. But it was a perfect topspin lob. Backhand volley down the line. Not enough penetration, and a perfectly executed forehand topspin lob cross court.
Even in defeat, he has sent a message that he has every shot in the bag with the exception of a first serve. I mean, he's played extremely well in every phase except on service games.
First serve.
And that was a problem for him yesterday.
Same problem, too, because in each case, same thing with Howard Jaffe of Pepperdine, and again today with Alex O'Brien. They're going to attack his second serve relentlessly.
Advantage O'Brien.
O'Brien serving successfully down the middle in the deuce court again to win yet another point of importance.
Alex O'Brien, who at one point yesterday in his win over San Diego's Jose Luis Noriega, won 24 of 28 points, has not gotten on that kind of roll today, but when you're playing a counterpuncher like McGuire, that's difficult to do.
Noriega had been out for a couple of months before this tournament with a rotator cuff injury, so he did a terrific job to reach the semifinals.
Yes, he did.
His rhythm was completely ruined by a nearly flawless O'Brien in that semifinal match. O'Brien played nearly as well in the second set, but not quite to the level of the first.
Back to deuce.
I think O'Brien is sensing the importance of this game. No, he's thinking ahead and knowing that 5-2 would be such a comfortable lead, and it's making him press because this was a makeable first volley, forehand volley that he could ordinarily make. He was stretched out, but he can make that forehand volley under ordinary circumstances. He knew just how critical that point was. It's his second game point for 5-2.
Advantage O'Brien.
And again, O'Brien will have a game point. He was in a similar situation, really, when leading 3-1. And McGuire came forward, got it to deuce.
He had a point for 4-1. It was very similar. But then this is even more within striking distance. It's an even tougher game, I think, psychologically for him, because he so badly wants to reach 5-2.
That's out.
Game O'Brien.
He wins the
O'Brien
game.
leads 5-2.
And now he'll receive for an opportunity at the NCAA championship. A second consecutive for Stanford here at Georgia against a Bulldog opponent. We'll be back.
Recently, the International Motorsports Association held a decathlon of performance and control. Over 22 days, 7 cars competed in 10 events to determine which was best overall. It wasn't Acura or Volvo. nor Mercedes or Mazda, nor Lexus or BMW. But the Audi 100 V6, the IMSA Decathlon Gold Medal winner.
U.S. Air Reservations, how can I help you?
Hi, who are you?
2 to Washington, please. After you.
Yours, sir.
Thanks.
You're traveling light?
Did you have fun flying?
Yeah. You enjoy your flight with US Air?
Thank you for flying on US Air.
You'll hear one word again and again from the people of U.S. Air.
What's better for you?
For one very good reason.
Everything we do.
You go to gate 10.
That's where I'm at.
The NCAA, in partnership with the federal government's Office of Community Services, provides facilities and funding for the National Youth Sports Program. Now in its 24th year, NYSP offers economically disadvantaged youngsters important experiences in sports and enrichment activities through summer programs at NCAA colleges and universities.
Alex O'Brien going after a straight sets victory over Wade McGuire. We're at the Men's Division I NCAA Championship here in Athens, Georgia, scenic Henry Field Stadium. We are very, very happy to be here, believe me. A little on-air pub for you, Steve. Henry Field, by the way, in case you're wondering who Henry Field is, was a tremendous tennis player, a 3-time All-American in the 60s, and was on his way to a tremendous career when, tragically, he died in an auto accident. And then when they started building this program under Dan McGill, he remembered one of his pupils, one of his star players. And a tremendous facility they've built here. This championship will be held here again next year. And then in 1993, it will move to Notre Dame, Indiana. And Notre Dame had a tremendous year, finishing 4th in the team competition.
Yes, Notre Dame actually reached the final of the team competition. David DeLucia is the #1 player in the nation from Notre Dame. We take a look at the nets points won, and now Wade McGuire, first serve to second serve. Look at the difference in the ratio. 62% of the first serve points won, which is respectable. 23% on second serve, which is dismal.
Love 15.
And another deuce court double fault from Wade McGuire.
His 10th.
10th of the match. Let's say 7 of them on that side, maybe 8. Three points from defeat is Wade McGuire.
Love 30.
You know, I get the feeling, Steve, particularly on his first serve, maybe not on his second, that he's opening up a bit. Now, I never played at the competitive level you did, but apparently he just opens up somewhat and does not have control over the first serve. And even on the second, I think he takes too many risks there.
Well, the second is, of course, a big difference because he's going for flat first serves, which are non-percentage. But the second one, he's going for a kick, and the toss is getting behind him, for one thing.
Wait, please. Clear
Just a series of problems for him the past 2 days when on serve. Love 30. Another double fault.
3 consecutive double faults when he's serving to save the match.
So you hate to see that. I'm sure even Alex O'Brien would not want to win a national championship off of consecutive double faults. It's just a horrible way to win a title.
Never forget seeing John McEnroe play Arthur Ashe in the final of the Masters, 1979 Masters. He was up 5-4, 40 love, first set, triple set points, served 3 doubles in a row, and ended up losing that set.
And it's out. And your NCAA champion again is housed in Palo Alto. Alex O'Brien. Born March 7th, 1970 from Amarillo, Texas. Completes 19 consecutive NCAA tournament wins with his own singles championship. John Whitlinger, Dick Gould embracing yet another champion, the 11th from Stanford through the years, dating all the way back to 1921. Stay with us. We'll continue with more and put a perspective on this championship for the young man from Stanford, Alex O'Brien, in just a moment.